This video is based on publicly available information, official reports, and credible news sources as of the time of publishing. It aims to inform and raise awareness through factual reporting and respectful storytelling. We do not intend to accuse or defame any individual, company, or organization. The dramatizations used are for illustrative purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised, especially due to the sensitive nature of this tragedy. 12th June 2025. Today, we unravel the chilling story of Air India Flight AI171, a routine journey from Ahmedabad to London that ended in a catastrophic disaster. Over 270 lives lost. At the heart of it, a cockpit mystery, ignored safety warnings, and one haunting question: why hasn't Boeing fixed a switch issue that has been flagged since 2018? This isn't about sensationalism, it's about truth, loss, and the accountability. It was 1:38 in the afternoon in Ahmedabad. Air India Flight AI171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, took off from runway 23 with 242 souls on board. Families, students, professionals, and politicians from UK, Portugal, and Canada. Welcome to Your Bites, uncovering truth, one story at a time. Within 40 seconds after takeoff, at just 650 feet, vastly experienced Captain Sumit Sabharwal, a veteran with over 15,600 flying hours, issued a Mayday call. Seconds later, all communications were lost, and disaster unfolded. The plane crashed into Meghani Nagar, hitting a hostel near BJ Medical College. A fireball, fueled by over 125,000 liters of jet fuel, tore through the area, shattering buildings, lives, and an entire city's sense of safety. Witnesses described the chaos: screams, fire, falling debris all over the place. Over 270 people were killed, including those on the ground. Among the victims, medical students, residents, and a former chief minister of Gujarat. In the middle of all that destruction, one man made it out safely to tell the tale. Vishwakumar Ramesh, a 40-year-old British national seated in 11A, near an emergency exit, survived the crash. Bruised, shocked, but alive. He later said that in a statement: "I saw death all around me. I still don't know how I made it out." Some call it luck, others credit his seat location. But in tragedies like this, survival often defies reason or logic. His story stands alone, a rare light on a dark, dark day. Both black boxes were recovered. What they found was shocking to say the least. Seconds after takeoff, both the engines were shut down, not due to failure, but because someone flipped the fuel switches to cut off. In the recovered cockpit audio, you can hear one pilot say, "Why did you cut off?" And the other one replies, "I didn't do it." These switches aren't that easy to move by mistake. They are protected for a reason. It takes a deliberate action, but somehow both were flipped together.
As early as 2019, US safety officials had warned about faulty locking mechanism on some Boeing 787s. It wasn't mandatory. Of course not. Safety is overrated anyway. And Air India never checked for it. Now that delay is under the microscope. In 2018, the FAA flagged locking issues with these same switches. A safety bulletin was issued but not enforced. Air India replaced throttle modules in 2019 and 2023 but never inspected the switches themselves. Since the crash, airlines in Korea, Singapore, and the UAE have launched emergency inspections. Etihad even diverted a Dreamliner mid flight to check its switches. Boeing and the FAA insist that the systems are safe. But can they really be impartial? Can they really be trusted given what is at stake? Among the casualties, Vijay Rupani, former Chief Minister of Gujarat, a UK based radiologist, and his young family. Sisters Dheer and Heer Bakshi returning from a birthday surprise for their grandmother. Flight attendant Mathili Patil, who texted her father moments before the takeoff and promised her father that she will reach out to him after she lands. But unfortunately, she never got that opportunity. It wasn't just a disaster in the sky. On the ground, 29 more lives were lost. Students, doctors, families, everyday people. Some may have not even known that there was a plane going above them. In some cases, bodies were charred beyond recognition and identified only through DNA testing. In Ahmedabad and across the UK, candlelight vigils were held. Even King Charles attended one. The grief crossed beyond borders. In the aftermath, India acted quickly. Rescue teams, army medics, and fire crews rushed to the crash site, battling flames and pulling survivors from the wreckage. Hospitals in Ahmedabad and nearby cities were put on high alert. With dozens of ambulances, authorities set up a temporary command center to coordinate relief efforts. Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu and Home Minister Amit Shah arrived at the site to oversee operations and update the press on government's response. Shortly after, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the scene, meeting rescue officials and grieving families, and promising a full investigation and support for those affected. Tata Group, the owner of Air India, announced Rs 1 crore compensation per victim. Flight numbers AI171 and AI172 were retired. Regulators around the world took note. The DGCA ordered emergency checks on all Indian Dreamliners. But the spotlight turned to Boeing. Once again, the company faces accusations of putting profits ahead of safety. For years, Aviation experts and safety inspectors had been warning that cost cutting measures were compromising engineering checks and pilot training. Internal emails emerged, whistleblowers that spoke out, and safety concerns were repeatedly ignored. Just like the fuel switch warnings, flagged early and then quietly forgotten. In the world full of assumptions and opinions, there is no shortage of theories. Pilot sabotage? Possible, but no clear motive, at least that we know of. And the dead aren't here to defend themselves. Blaming the pilot is the easiest thing to do in this. Mechanical failure? A strong possibility. FAA flagged the risk. Software glitch? Ruled out. The 787 has no auto fuel shutoff. This was the first fatal crash of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner and maybe the most preventable. Why were safety advisories ignored repeatedly? Why wasn't action taken sooner? Should cockpit video recorders be mandatory? And is India equipped to enforce compliance when lives are at stake? The crash of AI171 wasn't just an accident. It was a breakdown of systems, of oversight, of responsibility and accountability. One man survived, but over 270 didn't. Families were torn apart. Dreams lost, futures stolen. At Your Bites, we believe stories like these aren't just about the past. They are a warning and a call to do better. If this story gave you clarity or raised questions, then please share it. And if you like this type of content, then what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Let's hold power accountable together. For now, a moment of silence for those that we have lost. I will end the video with this reminder. Safety isn't a checkbox, it's everything. And next on Your Bites, we shift the focus from the skies to our own traditions, uncovering why Indian weddings are becoming bigger, costlier, and more problematic than ever. Stay tuned.